Good morning. Today is April 22nd of 2022, and it's 6:30 a.m. in the morning. Let me see if I can run my intro this way. I need to have this where I can always find it. Let's see. Here it is. Jim Howard here in Fort Worth, Texas.
Thank you very much for watching.
There we go. That's a little bit easier than me having to go and edit that clip into the video thing. So let's take a look at CNN page right now. Get that out of the way. Satellite images, apparently mass graves in the Ukraine. Russian troops use rape as an instrument of war in Ukraine, human rights groups allege. How Russia is trying to prove it can live with sanctions. Jimmy, when you get a chance, could you close my door? I'm making a YouTube video, so that'll help cut out some audio, some sound in the background. Let's see. Disney has its own government in Florida, by the way, and what happens if it goes away? I'm two-sided on that. I lived 5 years in Miami, and I lived a year or so in Orlando. I forget the name of there's a large community, like a housing project or an apartment complex or condo complex down there. And I think it's in Orlando, I believe. And you know that it's controlled by the Disney Corporation. You know, they're they hire their own police department, fire department, and I was reading when I think when I lived down there that you know, they were, I think an expose or something was done, maybe on 60 Minutes or something like that. So the government, the Disney government, I forget what that, it wasn't called Disney City or anything, but you know, they covered up I mean, everything was done to protect the Disney Corporation and their brand and that type of stuff. So now, on the other hand, it's the governor of Florida, Republican governor, who is wanting to be in 2024, you know, running for president of the United States, you know, as a Republican. And he's now he's smarter than Trump, but that's, I mean, you know, Trump is not smart at all. Trump has no assets. I mean, there's nothing. He doesn't have any pluses. And the governor of Florida, I mean, he's smart. He's not an idiot and things like that. But he's not somebody we would want, you know, as president of the United States. So this is you know, and you know, and the Republican governor of Florida has tried to overrule the rules and regulations on, wearing masks and all this type of stuff. And he's strictly a hack who is watching, the trends and the Republican Party, and he's doing everything he can to be the man who's going to run against whoever the Democrat is in 2024. So I'm not. I'm not somebody. I don't know what the best thing to do down there. Well, I know he's not the best thing for the nation or for Florida. But I'm not sure about the. See, it's not just this one major city that is that's positively controlled, by the Disney Corporation. There's then also the Disney World and those things down there, a vast area, the amusement park, and then the area around it, a vast area around it. And I think there's some other areas that have the same thing, and it's controlled by so I don't know what the best thing to do for the people of Florida and for the United States. I don't think of course the Disney Corporation might be better than a city, someplace running a city. But what I'd like to see in a way, and not because we don't need to do things to, destroy our system of government and that or whatever. But what I'd like to see is, he's taking on the Disney Corporation, and of course I like the idea of taking on corporations. Corporations should not be, running this country. And they should have to pay taxes, they should have to obey the laws and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not suggesting this, really, because I don't know the situation. I don't know what's best for. By the way, I see my shirt here. When I did the laundry, somebody poured in Clorox. So, I'd like to see the Disney Corporation say, okay, well, of course they have a tremendous investment down there, and the world knows, hey, Disney, World or whatever. I'd like to see the Disney Corporation to say, okay, well, Governor, we're pulling our amusement parks out of Florida, and we're putting them someplace else, and see how he likes that. And of course, on the other hand, I don't want to say they have a tremendous investment down there. People go there and they spend a lot of money, which is good for the state of Florida and all that kind of stuff. It's just, I'm so tired of these political hacks and the people who only care about themselves, who have no integrity, no honesty. And they're in both parties. I mean, they're worse. It's worse in the Republican Party because of their basic philosophy of, taking care of the rich and taking care of the corporations. So that makes things worse. Well, look at the man they picked to run as a president who actually, won. Let's see what else here's on the news. Netflix may clamp down on password sharing. Here's what that means. Well, I think we all know what that means. I pay for Netflix, Hulu. I can't. I pay for all of them. And my family in Washington D.C., they use my a login and password to watch Netflix occasionally, and I think something else occasionally. I mean, very rarely. My family there is not, not sitting there watching movies and that type of thing all the time, but they do use it. Well, let's take other people. Yeah, people have a whole bunch of family, especially with Netflix, I think, because I think Netflix allows it. But now they're looking, they just had, for the first time, I think, for 2 months, whatever their period is of accounting, they had a bunch of people, cancel their Netflix service. And after the second month or whatever of things, the stock value, the market value of Netflix dropped 35%. Dow Jones average, or however they go there again, I don't, And the stock world and things are like, wow, that's never happened, because Netflix lost, I think, now I might be wrong on this, I can't remember, I saw it the other day, 200,000 people canceled their thing. So it looks like that Netflix is thinking about doing something to about the people being able to use somebody's a family, like my family being able to use my password someplace, username and password someplace else. So, if it were just me living alone, I would have Amazon Prime and probably Netflix, and all the rest of them I would just cancel. What is it? What do I have? God, I don't even know. Let's see if I can. Wait a minute. Let's do this. Let's go to where? Okay, well here I think I pay for Paramount Plus. I pay for Netflix. I pay for Amazon. Let's see. There's Hulu. I pay for a bunch, and some of this stuff is shared. I know I have family that is using Netflix, and I'm not sure about these others. So now we know that, oh, by the way, yeah, I think I made a video a week or two ago about no, it was the start of the month. Well, today's the 22nd, so it was the start of the month about CNN making the change that they made. They started CNN Plus at the beginning of this month. Now they still have CNN that we're also used to, where like I can pull it up here and you can do things. But CNN Plus is like a Netflix or something like that. You have to pay for it. And now you can still have access to CNN. But they have a CNN. Well, right now, but. They started CNN Plus and special programming. Now, not movies or anything like that, but probably some specials made or something. But it's as a network, to make money. And I think if you check that video someplace, wherever it is of mine, I think you'll see that I said, this isn't going to work. people will pay for, movies, entertainment, and looking at other stuff, but they're not going to want to pay. I mean, some will, but not enough. Okay, so 22 days ago, Amazon Plus started up. At the end of this month, in the beginning of next month, there will no longer be a CNN Plus. They have already given up on it. I'm not sure exactly. There's more to this, and I think, and it's beyond my pay grade. I don't know. And it had something to do with somehow had something to do with the takeover and with the changes that they wanted to do something, and I think they had to get rid of CNN. So CNN was not tied in with something like Amazon or something like that. There was some kind of a problem. They wanted to do something in order to sell something, and I don't know who, if it was Roku or who it was, but some kind of a deal had to be made at the corporate level, And so in order to do it, they had to do something, and I think they came up with CNN Plus. Now the deal was approved that a trade could be made, and now I think they're doing away with the thing that they had to have in order for the deal to be made. So I don't know. Wheeling and dealing, and none of it helps us. Netflix may clamp down on password sharing. Here's what that means. Mike Tyson appears to hit fellow airplane passenger. Okay, Mike Tyson, the boxing champ or whatever, is he the guy that bit a couple in the boxing ring? Is that, I can't remember. Usually they all, I think they do steroids or something. I think all these people go, And two, they're just, trained to be, the training is to be violent, You're not going to be a boxing champ if you say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I hit you," or "I'm," whatever. So, I don't know, but ironic prompt from The Shining can be yours as for a scary price. A junior college baseball pitcher is no longer on the team after attacking a base runner. I wonder, let's see if this is a short video. Junior college baseball pitcher is no longer on the team after attacking a base runner.
Three-1 swung on towards left center field. This one's going toward the warning track at the wall. It's over the fence. It's a two-run home run to give the Lions the lead. North Central is taking the lead here in game one.
Wow.
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no.
That was out
Yeah,
of
what?
nowhere.
Let me see if I can see. See if they're going to tell
North
us.
Central is taking the lead here in game one.
Wow.
Oh my. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Okay, well, there'll be, you can look that up and find out what did it have to do with a girlfriend, or did the one guy say something to somebody else, or, I don't know. California chef lists a 225-acre Malibu estate with ocean views for I'm sure it's $18 million, not the Putin, bullying backfires as Finland and Sweden edge closer to joining NATO. I feel sorry for the Russian people, but then they've got, on the other hand, apparently there is a lot of support for, Putin in Russia, and for a number of reasons, but Jeff Bridges lists his Monticello, California property for $8 million. A whole bunch of those people who have money, entertainers and that kind of stuff, have multiple, properties. So when you see something like, you think, well, he's only got an $8 million, but they probably have other, other places. I think I need to take that targeting thing off my face. Brightness, let's see if I can do that. No, it says framing is off. Time lapse is off. Okay. I think there's a setting for that someplace. I'll look for it later. Okay, back to the top of the page of, okay. This junior college, I don't know what's going on, but maybe he has a scholarship to go to, I think is it junior college? It's a junior college, okay. I was thinking, that he has a scholarship maybe with a big college or something or other, and that would be over with, So he'd have to come up with the. Okay, I think I look at all of the. Let me go back here. Let's see. When will the U.S. have a COVID-19 vaccine for the youngest children? U.S. Air Force creates brand new weapon called the Phoenix Ghost for the Ukraine. Venice, is going to charge, I guess, 10 euros or something to enter in 2023. I think that's because of environmental damages and just, it's an area that's been around for a long time, and they have the water running through the place, and just the land. I think they have too many people going there. And so they need to kind of stop some people from going there, I guess. Remember the case of the UK girl who was in Portugal, with her parents, a little tiny girl. That's her on the screen. Back, I think it was 2007, I believe. And the parents were in a expensive area, you know, hotel, whatever place. And right across, I guess, from them, the mom and dad they left the little girl, you know, in bed, asleep at night, and they went across to, you know, party some. They're on a vacation or something. And then dad or mom, I forget which, went back, of course, to check from time to time. Went back and the little girl was gone. That made major news, you know, UK family in Portugal vacationing, and Portugal has finally identified a suspect in the disappearance of the British toddler. And I guess, I'm sure we heard it back a few years ago. Germany, I think it was, identified a suspect that they had who was in prison. And because he had committed rapes and that type of stuff, and he was in that area where this little girl disappeared at the time that she disappeared. And so they have him listed as, you know, as suspect. And of course, he's in prison and he's not going to get out. I don't know. You know, that's the thing. I'm opposed to the death penalty. But you know, anyway, now he's still listed as, now Portugal's listing him as, you know, a suspect. I'm against the death penalty. And I know a lot of Americans don't agree with me, but I'm opposed to the death penalty. Because I'm sure a lot of innocent people have died, been put to death, and here in the United States, you know, because of the death penalty. But if Germany or if Portugal, if they had the death penalty, then you arrest this guy for whatever he did, you know. And but you don't know about, you know, this, but you arrest him and you for these other things. Then you could say to him, you know, well, you know, you're going to be found guilty, and you're going to get the death penalty. You're going to die. We're going to inject you in the arm, and you're going to die. You're going to be dead. Some of those people, I would, you know, and then you'd say, but if you tell us about this other case, you tell us what happened, and you won't get the death penalty. You'll just be locked up for the rest of your life. And being locked up in a European country, I think, you know, maybe not Turkey or some other country outside of, you know, Europe, wouldn't be like. I've seen a couple things on like being in prison in Sweden or something like that. Hey, lock me up, you know. I saw not just about Sweden, but about some other countries, and they have what looks to be like a nice apartment. And in Sweden, and I'm sure some of those other countries, the prisoner can have a roommate that he can pick, you know. So, you know, and it can be you know, if it's a male prisoner, it can be a female prisoner, and they, you know, it's nicer than what I've got, situation that I've got here. Hey, Sweden locked me up. But anyway. Oh, President Biden did do something that I've been calling for, you know, well, of course I don't have any, you know, I have 3,500 subscribers. That's not enough. I don't have any kind of an influence at all. Nobody's, you know, Biden or when Trump was president, there's nobody, none of those people are reading, you know, going to my YouTube channel, or before I had the YouTube channel and I had, you know, was using WordPress and it was a printed material going, all that, I've been doing it for years. I don't have that kind, so nobody know, I have no influence, you know. But I got sidetracked. Anyway. Oh, no. I've been calling because it's absolutely stupid for us to have done this, but we're a capitalistic country, which the right wing think, oh, that's great. No, it's not great. The way the system works, it's terrible. we need a system more like the European countries and that type of stuff. With our own flavor. Because we have our own history or whatever. Maybe a parliament like they have in the UK. Maybe that would be better. That would go against maybe that would be better. And then we have this, states. Of course, a lot of states or nations have. You have Spain with, and what the one or two areas, Basque area or whatever, that is a pain in the ass to them, and stuff like that. But our 50-state system, also, that's a separate subject, but our 50 states way of doing things is you have a governor, and you have state legislatures that think they're a Congress. They are, I guess, a state Congress or something. But it's just, just chaotic. A governor will say, okay, well, you don't have to wear a mask. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do, and they use all this stuff politically, whatever. So we could definitely use a change, but if you go, in the beginning, for a long time, I was, opposed. No, don't mess with the Constitution. Leave, don't repeal it. Don't, I think now we need to make major changes to it, but the only problem is when you don't have, our founding fathers, they didn't want political parties, but they developed. There was never their intention to have political parties, but I still haven't got around to it. We have right now until the end of the year, I think. Well, until the contracts expire or whatever. We have prisons that are run by corporations, and they're making tons and tons of money. And the Republicans, they love that. Hey, no federal employees. For no matter what it is, they don't want employees, making good wages. They want corporations running it. So we have private corporations running prisons, and that should not be. Somebody should not go to prison and have a private corporation, private company running the prison. Yeah, if you want to bring in a food service or something and contract for that, okay, do that. But not running the place. You got these prisons, the federal government makes, contracts, deals. Okay, we will keep, say I have a Howard Corporation, say, and I think I want it. So, so the government would, of course you have to go to the government too, but okay, the government would say, Jim, we'll guarantee that we will keep, you build a prison, and we'll make sure you have 95% occupancy all the time. And that's so that you don't lose money, and it just works it works that way. And therefore the prisons, hire their own, guards and all that type of stuff, and the prisons know that they have to, in order to make money for the corporation, they have to have a 90% occupancy or something like that. So those prisons are allowed to make, rules that, hey, Bill Brown, our prisoner here, he spit at a guard, so we'll lengthen his sentence, or that type of stuff. I mean, the whole thing is crazy. I've been calling for a long time for that to be done away with, and President Biden has signed the paperwork or whatever to do it. I'm not sure how long these contracts with the government go for, maybe 3 years or something. So there might be 3 more years before it would end, or 2 years, depending on these different prisons and things. But anyway, that's another good thing that Biden has done. But if the Republicans gain control of Congress in this election that's coming up here in a few months, they may override him in some way. And if they get somebody elected, I can't believe anybody would vote for a Republican for president after Trump Who knows, Anyway. I'm still on the CNN page. Most shoes are bad for the environment. Let's see. We didn't hear much about Earth Day this year, did we? So many things going on. Stop sending people armed to the teeth to do this job. Are they talking about police? A police officer shot this guy, killed him instantly. It happened during a physical encounter following a traffic stop in Grand Rapids, Michigan on April 4th. Died as a result of a single gunshot wound with an entrance wound in the back of the head. Yeah. A bad license plate. I do agree with the fact that we need to cut down on the police traffic stops, stopping somebody for crossing over the line, an expired tag, because we have now, police cars that are have hardware in them that as they're driving, they can be driving or they can be parked, and they're scanning license tags and all that kind of stuff. And then if somebody's wanted or the car's stolen or whatever, boom. So they've got that. So, let's get away from this random, stopping of somebody for something minor that turns into a shooting where people get killed. And there's a bunch of other things they could do to improve the situation. Now, do police departments need to be cut back? No, but they probably need to allocate their forces and their training and those type of things, perhaps in a different way. When somebody calls in 911, we've got somebody here that's, a mental patient and he's smashing the house up or whatever. So if that's two officers going normally, and then calling for a backup if they need it. But should it be that the police dispatch a person well trained in, dealing with those type of situations, instead of a uniformed police officer who has non-lethal weapons and a lethal weapon? No, you need a police officer responding with non-lethal weapons and knowing how to use them really, really well, much better than how we're trained, the way the UK trains their police officers, which is expensive because of the training. And, the right wing and the people in Texas, make fun of the UK, the police, they don't have guns. Well, of course, nowadays they do, a lot of them, and they're highly trained in, use of non-lethal weapons. And I saw it's been a while back, I saw a thing, it might have been on Cops. I only watched a few episodes of Cops. I hated it. Well, at first I watched, 2 or 3 episodes. Interesting. After that, I hated it. But I saw a thing where some guy is drunk and acting up or whatever on the street. And so the constables or the bobbies or whatever they are called, a van pulls up. And out comes like 6 or 7, bobbies, the police officers come out, unarmed, I think, all of them. And, they handle this guy, and then they have stations that are so close that they walk the guy, over, and I don't even think they handcuffed him. And they had the manpower to do that. So, but you have to have, I'm not suggesting that for here, but something like that. And then two, which, I don't agree with, apparently it's just socially, or would it be politically, abhorrent to, they don't believe in handcuffing somebody unless necessary. It's like you're like making them a slave, or, you had Magna Carta and all this type of stuff, and the person's a citizen, so you don't, now sometimes they have to, But then recently I saw something where, in London they're having a lot of trouble with people on motorcycles committing crimes, and using the motorcycle to get away, and even gangs, doing that. And I was surprised because the police were ramming, the bobbies were like ramming the person on the motorcycle and knocking them on the ground or whatever. That's kind of so everybody's different. Everybody has a different history and whatever. Let's see. What else did I want to cover? I'm trying something new. Well, one, I tried running the thing. I'll do that a little bit better, And that saves me some time because I don't have to open up the video editor and then put in the intro and then put in the video that I made. So I'm probably going to try just that, what I did, except get it better timed, I just received $118 from YouTube, from Google, but it was from YouTube for YouTube money made by people, But I think that took me like 4 months to make. But I think I mentioned this in a previous video that, like, I've been with YouTube since 2005, and they, from time to time, they send these things. Let's log in and check this or check that. So anyway, finally I logged in and checked whatever their new thing they'd done. Well, one of the things listed there was, because they had things for checking, Apparently, when I, of course, signed up for YouTube and got approved and all that kind of stuff, you have to make $100 in order for them to send it to you. So there's 4 or 5 months at a time would go, and I would make, like $20 or something. And when it added up to 100, I would get it. Apparently they changed that, if I understand correctly. And you can click and have whatever you make. It might be a limit of $5, something to make it, go into your bank. So I clicked that. But I think I just recently did that. But from now on, I think if I only make $20 or whatever, it'll go in my bank, and that'll help out. Unfortunately, I'm always purchasing things. Oh, my son got his Dell computer. I haven't actually, I've seen the back of it. I don't want to go, his room is a biohazard area. I don't want to go into his room. My grown son, I don't want to go into his room. So I haven't seen it, or I don't know anything about it, don't know what model it is or anything else. I asked him if he wanted to do a review, and none of my kids, and I don't blame them, none of my kids want to be involved in any of this. So On Monday, today is Friday, on Monday I'm going to go and have lab work done at the doctor's office. And then about a week after that, I'll be going in for my exam. I think I talked about this. And I got a bunch of problems because, well, I won't go into that because I mentioned the thing with that. Well, I'll mention it. About a year ago, I went to the doctor's office. They had I see a physician assistant, you know. Of course, the MD or whatever is in charge, but these are highly trained people. I mean, they basically doctors, you know, but they didn't, you know. And I've been seeing for several. I like the doctor that runs the place and that I saw in the beginning. But as soon as I started going to the physician assistant, a female, I like her a lot, and she's thorough. But anyway, about a year ago when I went, they were orientating a new physician assistant. Now, she's been through all the training and all that type of stuff, and she's certified and all that type of stuff, or whatever. But of course, they had to like orientate her to the the office and where the exam rooms are, where they lay the charts down, and how you do this and how you do that. And so I got my my physician assistant, who I like. She was orientating the new, who was also a female physician assistant, although they went into the program differently. One went through nursing and of course got the necessary medical, doctor's training, and the other one went through, what did I say? One went through nursing, and then the other went through some medical way of going through and entered in, so they have a different letter underneath their name, -C or something or other, and dash something else. But anyway, so I went in and they said, oh, by the way, so-and-so is going to have so-and-so because she's orientating. And so they spent an hour, or the one especially, one spent an hour with me. The other one, who actually was my regular one I saw, was, go take care of a patient and come over and check in, is everything okay? And, and then the new one would say, how do I do this? What do I, where, that kind of stuff. Anyway, what happened was, nothing happened. They said, okay, well, for your scan, we need to scan this place here. And now I have a place here which I didn't have before. Same thing on the other side, And you need to see a podiatrist, and you need to see these other things, to be taken care of. Nothing happened because somebody did it. I think each one of them thought the other one was doing the charting or something. And so it's basically, it's like I saw a doctor a year ago and nothing was ordered, nothing was, so. Anyway, how long have I been talking? Okay, now I don't see OBS, of course, because I changed things a little bit. Let's click OBS here. I think you probably like this better. Don't you like this setup better? See, I'm not running this camera through OBS. I'm just running the camera. And that allows me some options, Anyway, I've been talking for 50 minutes, so it's time to stop. And please subscribe. It does matter. And if you can, if you're going to purchase something on Amazon, please use my link. Go there, and it doesn't cost you anything. And it would be nice to have some money coming in from that. There for a while back, and I was, for 2 or 3 months in a row, I was making $70 a month from Amazon commission. Now it's zero. It's been zero for months. So there's a sort of a history of people like us, especially you old-timers, not you young whippersnappers maybe so much of ignoring the banners that used to be on our side and the stuff and clicking on it and that type of stuff. But it doesn't cost you anything, and if I get a little more money coming in, then I can buy bigger and better stuff, and that's what I do. I spend all the money that I get in from this on stuff I like to play around with, and so if you can, I'd appreciate it. Thank you very much.